Thomas, when Utica police arrived on scene Sunday morning shortly after 7, they say that the female victim was already deceased. This afternoon, police tell me that they believe that the suspect left this graffiti message on the ground saying, "May you never forget me," close to where he murdered his girlfriend in his SUV at the dead end of Post Street in East Utica.
The family is shocked that this occurred. The family was familiar with Brandon, and they're shocked that this occurred.
21-year-old Brandon Clark from Cicero murdered his 17-year-old girlfriend, Bianca Devins. She graduated Proctor High School a few weeks ago and had plans to attend NVCC in the fall. The couple met online through Instagram about 2 months ago, a case that has got national attention and trending on Twitter, hashtag RIP Bianca.
After the incident occurred, which led to her death, that photos were taken of her and were posted on social media or chat platforms, one being Discord. They were posted on there, which led people to become concerned and to contact the Utica police.
Utica police received a couple of calls relating to this case.
Calls was that was a concerned person on that thread that saw the post, and on that post was a name and a location of Utica, New York, and that person became concerned based on the photo and contacted the Utica Police Department. We were also contacted by another individual that was familiar with the suspect in this case, and he also contacted the police along with the suspect himself.
And it's unclear why this happened on Post Street. Police are still investigating if this murder was planned.
We're aware that Bianca and Brandon did attend a concert in the New York City area on Saturday night leading into Sunday and prior to this incident. We do believe that something occurred while attending this event or on the way home from this event that ultimately led to this incident, which led to her death.
A statement from the family of Bianca say, quote, "We are very grateful for the outpouring of love and sympathy that we have received from our friends, family, Bianca's friends, and the whole community. Your prayers help us to strengthen us through this difficult time." A visual will be held tonight at 8 at the corner of the Parkway and Oneida Street in Utica to remember the Proctor graduate and to celebrate her life. Reporting, Jen Seelig, Eyewitness News.
Bianca Michelle Devins was a teenager from Utica, New York, who was stabbed to death on July 14, 2019, allegedly by Brandon Andrew Clark after attending a Nicole Dawn-Ganger concert. She was dead by the time police arrived. Photos of her corpse were then allegedly uploaded by Clark to the internet, who attempted suicide following Devins' death but failed. The photos were widely shared, sparking both mockery and sympathy. Clark and Devins were already friends before the incident, although Clark at times called himself her boyfriend and reportedly wanted more from their relationship. The nature of their friendship is composed of conflicting reports, with some calling him a close family friend, while others feared he was exploitative towards Devins. Clark was often described on social media as a lonely stalker, obsessed with Devins, the latter of which he may have been. He pleaded guilty on February 10, 2020 and is facing 25 years to life in prison. The case saw international mainstream news reporting. Initial reports were marred by misinformation and rumours regarding Devins found their way online. The response by social media sites to the spread of the photos, considered by many as slow and inconsistent, was strongly criticised, leading to Instagram implementing features in response. Legislation was introduced in Devins' name to follow the moderation of social media companies. It is believed that in April 2019, Bianca Michelle Devins and Brandon Andrew Clark met and kept in communication through Instagram. They later met in person, with Clark attending her high school graduation party. They were on friendly terms, although Clark reportedly wanted more, something which Devins was aware of. He at times referred to himself as Devins' boyfriend, in spite of her saying otherwise. Described as a close and trusted family friend by one of her sisters, the exact nature of Clark and Devins' relationship was a topic her and her mother, Kim Devins, had previously discussed. Police described their relationship as a personally intimate one, while friends and family state they were not romantically involved. Investigations of Clark's internet history suggested that he was possibly obsessed with Devins, searching her name and checking her social media platforms frequently, as well as saving photos of her and repeatedly sending messages to her annoyance. There is no evidence that Clark was abusive, although one of Devins' sisters alleged that by virtue of age, Clark was 21, Devins 17, and his outright inclination towards violence, he held power over Devins. One friend of Devins expressed worry that he may have taken advantage of her sexually while they were high on drugs, which friends of hers said Clark would give at times so Devins would spend time with him. Clark grew up in an unstable household in which his father repeatedly abused his mother. When Clark was 10 years old, an incident in which his father held his mother at knife point for several hours resulted in Clark being entered into state foster care. Kim described him as charming and polite. Conversely, a childhood friend described him as obsessive, noting his fixations on Pokemon and Lolicon. During the time he met Devins, he was an admin of a Facebook group related to Unsolved. Bianca Devins graduated high school in February 2019 and at the time of her death was enrolled at Mohawk Valley Community College in Utica to study psychology. She struggled with mental illness in the form of depression, anxiety, borderline personality disorder and post-traumatic stress disorder. Her isolation as a result of her mental illness resulted in her seeking refuge online. Devins' relationship with her father was strained, and her mother referred to Devins' father as emotionally abusive, and from 2015 onward kept little contact with Devins. Friends of Devins often expressed concern for Devins' mental state. She once confided to a mental health counsellor that she had fantasised about injuring herself via jumping off a roof. According to Syracuse, Devins had been dealing with online harassment from incels for at least 2 years. Devins and Clark travelled to New York City for the night to see a live performance. They met a male friend named Alex, smoked cannabis in a car which belonged to Clark. Clark witnessed Devins kiss Alex at the show, which she knew angered him. Devins eventually fell asleep in the back of his car. Clark then woke her to discuss her kissing Alex. Devins apologises but states that they are not in a monogamous relationship. Clark, unsatisfied with her response, allegedly began to assault her and eventually continually sliced into her neck with a long knife hidden by his seat, killing her in a deserted, wooded, dead-end road. Her body was left in the car and Clark began to build a bonfire. After Devins' death, Clark called numerous family members in a manner akin to a suicide note and allegedly took pictures of Devins' bloodied body. All those people then called 911. The images of Devins' body were then posted by Clark to Discord at around 6 o'clock. By 7:20, police who become aware of the murder through users on Discord had received numerous calls, including one by Clark. He reportedly told the dispatcher, "I killed my girlfriend." When the police arrived, he stabbed himself in the neck, all while posting more photos online. His suicide attempt was unsuccessful and he was taken to hospital. By the time the police arrived, Devins was dead and nearly decapitated. Clark reportedly spray-painted a suicide note. The images of Devins became widely shared on social media such as Instagram and Twitter. In response, Instagram and Facebook removed Clark's account and attempted to stop the spread of the photos. Facebook added images of the murder to a digital fingerprint database to prevent further distribution. The hashtag YesJuliet was also blacklisted, while the Discord server that shared the corpse photo was terminated. Dr. James Densley, a professor of criminal justice in Minnesota, said that the images held the possibility to cause trauma to those who viewed them. Devins' family became aware of her death through the image being sent to them and her stepfather, who received the most harassment, reported having flashbacks. After their initial posting, the photos gained traction on the website 4chan, with hundreds of posts where users praised Clark for committing another 4chan murder. Devins' previous use of 4chan and e-girl image became a source of mockery for 4chan users. Users on Unsolved.co also celebrated the murder. A video of Devins before and during the murder was also taken. That was falsely claimed to be uploaded by Clark in hours following her death. The initial online discovery was clouded by misinformation, including tweets from a prominent Twitter user, one of which was shared more than 16,000 times, falsely identifying Clark as an incel, and rumours such as Clark stalking her, Devins being sexual and addicted to hard drugs, which she supported through selling nudes. The latter was debunked by her family. Theories on if Devins' death was the result of internet harassment and Clark's motives also took place. YouTube videos and Twitter and Reddit threads were dedicated to explaining the crime and Devins' history respectively. Clark was often portrayed as a lonely, obsessed stalker of Devins, who tracked her down at a concert and then killed her after she declined his sexual advances. Hashtag RIP Bianca was used to express support and discuss the murder's relation to similar stories as well as women's fears of rejecting men. A hashtag of her name was used to combat the photos of her being shared. RIP Bianca briefly trended on Twitter. Accounts promising to post images of Devins' murder in exchange for likes and follows. An illegitimate fundraising site sprung up to capitalise on her name and her death. Law enforcement, Dollanganger, and Devins' stepmother, Kaylee Nicole Rimmer, requested that people stop sharing the photos. Users who attempted to report them on Instagram found that they often evaded detection and were at times considered not violations of community guidelines, although a spokesperson for Instagram refuted this. Instagram and other sites' slow response to the photos' virality was strongly criticised. It was reported that some images stayed on Instagram for as long as 4 days, and Kim claimed that by September the images could still be found on Facebook. Hani Farid, a professor at the University of California, Berkeley, whose research focuses on digital forensics and image analysis, claimed that Instagram and other companies had their tools capable to deal with the spread and that their activity neared the criminal, despite a strictly legal perspective saying otherwise. By July 15th, the story had reached the mainstream and was subsequently reported around the world. Initial reports of Devins' murder falsely described her as an Instagram celebrity, despite only having 2,000 followers. She did, however, have a reputation on 4chan's R9K board. Clark was similarly falsely described. Reports regarding Clark's motive were conflicted, and misconceptions such as Devins being decapitated were also reported. Many media outlets used the murder to decry the dangers of meeting people online, a narrative which Kim strongly criticised. Elizabeth Doran of Syracuse noted that the case was more closer to the well-known story of abusive male partners. Melissa Jeltsin of HuffPost recalled that in the immediate aftermath of her death, everyone wanted it to mean something. Queenie Wong of CNET described the murder and the subsequent events as the latest example of the challenge social networks face in combating violent images and videos on their platforms. Densley said the images exposed the weird incentive structures in modern social media and lamented how Devins lives in sort of perpetual infamy online every time her image is shared. The crime has been discussed as a case of domestic violence against women caused by toxic masculinity. Evelyn Dueck of Harvard University drew parallels between the sharing of photos of Devins to the sharing of videos related to the Christchurch shooting. Although she acknowledged that Devins' murder was different in the fact that it attracted far less media and public attention, others have drawn similar conclusions, with it being noted that before men repeated the meme, subscribe to PewDiePie, following the events. Clark's actions following Devins' death have been interpreted as a demonstration of control. Utica Police Sergeant Michael Curley believed that Clark desired to generate attention and generate fame for himself. A vigil for Devins was held on July 15th. Clark pleaded not guilty to second-degree murder on July 29th. In December, While at Oneida County Correctional Facility, he was charged with promoting prison contraband after a sharpened toothbrush was found in his cell. On February 10, 2020, before his trial, the accused changed his plea to guilty, facing potentially 25 years to life in prison. Devins' family expressed relief at this decision. 4 days later, the video Clark took of Devins was publicly announced, despite Clark's wishes. The video's existence significantly affected Clark's claims of blacking out and forgetting details of her death. His sentencing was originally scheduled for April 7th, but was delayed because of the COVID-19 pandemic. On June 2nd, he filed a notice to withdraw his guilty plea, claiming his lawyer had failed him, but the judge denied Clark's request, stating that Clark had earlier expressed satisfaction with his legal representation and had freely admitted during his plea allocution that he committed the murder. His hearing took place on September 30th, and the written decision was drawn up on October 30th. He will be sentenced on November 10th. According to authorities, there is ample evidence that the murder was premeditated with knives, rope, and multiple other tools found at the scene of her murder. Investigator Peter Palladino believed that Clark committed the murder to differentiate himself from the other beta orbiters. Palladino also thinks the attack was premeditated. Oneida County Assistant District Attorney Sarah DeMilla claimed that Clark was told different people in his life different reasons why he did what he did. His mother, who criticised the prosecution for portraying him as a manipulative monster, believed that his internet history, which included searches on how to find carotid artery, how to incapacitate or kill someone, and general searches for choking and hanging, was related to plans to commit suicide instead of being related to a plot of murder. He has formally expressed remorse for his actions. Kim Devins, alongside Anthony Brindisi, have called for increased monitoring of social media such as Instagram, who, in response, allowed users to block private messages from strangers. They also promised to share results of an audit requested by Brindisi to Kim in August 2019, although by December, Kim had yet to receive the results. Brindisi has personally contacted the Federal Trade Commission and requested they investigate the case for full accountability. On September 21st, 2020, Brindisi and Devins' family introduced Bianca's Law. The proposed legislation would mean that all social media platforms with more than 10 million in revenue and more than 100,000 monthly users would have to establish an office dedicated to identifying and removing violent content that violates the platform's moderation standards. Devins also started a scholarship in Bianca's name for students pursuing psychology degrees.